Welcome to Virtual Tarot, and welcome to my little corner of the universe, which I call the Church of Ultimate Happiness. And we're broadcasting in dual locations this month, Trudy in her office and I in my church, because, oh, before I even get into the because, I want to welcome the Virgos of the planet to the reading for February. This is if you have Sun or your Moon or your rising sign in Virgo. And now to the because. Why are we here? We usually have sometimes elaborate, sometimes not so elaborate productions, and we enjoy those tremendously, but they take a terrible amount of effort. We have to work on them almost all month long to produce them. Doesn't seem like it, but that's how it is. And Trudy, this last month, right after Christmas of all things, fell down the stairs, hit the side of her head, and there's a hairline fracture down her jaw, and so it's her jaw swelled, closed, and which is a tragedy for anyone, but particularly for a Gemini, which Trudy is, because you can't talk. And so we were unable to produce our show, but thankfully she's healed somewhat. I mean, not completely at all. She's still in pain, and yet she's able to do these readings now. We've done almost all of them. I think we're second to the end right now, and Trudy's managed to pull through as the trooper that she is. So we are doing the readings in this venue because it is the only recourse we have. So forgive us this month. We'll be back hopefully to normal next month. And so Trudy, tell everyone out there, those new viewers, what we do here at Virtual Tarot.
Will do, Ava.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome again to Virtual Tarot, and I am so happy that you're here with us, Virgo. Thank you so much. What we do here at Virtual Tarot is we read for every sign every month, including Virgo. And if you haven't been with us before, what we do is a 4-card spread invented by lovely Ava. So let me describe exactly how that works, okay? The first card represents the overall environment of the month. The second card represents challenges, things that you may face, that you may have to sort of work through this month. The third card represents the unexpected, and we always say forewarned is fore-armed, Ava and I, and that is why you come to us. And then the fourth card represents the outcome. After that card, after we draw that card, we'll spin it into a narrative, the 4 cards, give you a little overview. This month, we'll also draw a 5th card at the end, and that card will pertain to your love life, Virgo, so you want to stay tuned for that. And with that said, I am going to switch back to my tarot correspondent, Ava, for last month's recap.
Yes.
And it all began with the 4 of Swords.
Oh my goodness, yes, the 4 of Swords. Well, January seemed to be a month of recovery and healing for you. Maybe even peace and quiet of some sort, finding a sanctuary from the mayhem of previous months, for taking some time and, you know, sleeping on a particular problem you may have, you know, not acting immediately, meditating on it, or regrouping, in a sense, getting it together so that you have all your ducks in line, let's just say that, and resurrecting your faith again in life, in your ability to solve your problems for yourself. And consequently, it comes after a period of mental exhaustion. And so you take some time out to do that mental healing. It's a swords card having to do with the mind. So that's it for the overall environment. Trudy, what was the challenge for Virgo?
Okay, and in the position of challenge, we had the Page of Cups reversed. And this card has also come up for quite a few of our signs this month, including Taurus. We just read for Taurus, and they had this card. Now and I really loved what you said, Abe, which was this card can represent an infatuation. Yeah. And now I'm not sure if we had read it that way last month, but you could be challenged with sort of an unrealistic sort of fantasy about a relationship or maybe a project that you're working on. You might have been challenged with that last month, and or you might have suffered a little bit from writer's block or some type of creative block. And I love this card because it's also, if you look at it, I mean, this is the card of the muse, okay? So maybe you were challenged a little bit. You were the muse, but perhaps taken off the pedestal a little bit. And as we go on, I mean, it seems to me as if, there may have been some issues previously in the past month. And I know we did have this, Ava. Remember, we had a lot of months where it seemed as if Virgo might have had two options in terms of love, two men in their lives. So maybe this is one of those men or people. And, you may have realized that it was just, you were challenged because, you weren't, it was not, the love was not returned. So I'm going to move on. And in the position of the unexpected, we had the Emperor, the good daddy card, in the upright.
And so let me expound on that for a moment. So unexpectedly, the Emperor appears, and this could be representative of a gentleman, a man, one who governs his world and those in it with a fairly heavy hand. He answers to no one. He is his own authority. And or you assume that role unexpectedly, one or the other. This is all either embodied in a male figure, like a father, like a CEO of a company, like some leader, maybe even your husband, who suddenly appears and regulates, puts rules and regulations down unexpectedly, and perhaps, in a sense, brings order to a previously chaotic situation. So, that said, Trudy?
And in the final position, and actually I want to add a little bit to the Emperor because we just kind of talked about this, remember? Yeah. We're like, this guy, this Emperor, he's like the guy who says, hey, behave yourself. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that in because that seems to be sort of a male-female thing where, maybe your lover was sort of asking you to behave yourself or abide by his rules and regulations. So, moving on, we have the world. Now, can I...
Yes, please.
Can I, Abe, tell them what we call it?
Oh, yes, if you win.
We call this the vagina card, girls.
Yes.
And why is that? Right. Well, just take a look at the card, and I think that will sort of give you the answer. But this is the last card of the major arcana, and it is rebirth. Okay, so at the end of the month, you were sort of, it's almost as if you were coming, well, I want to say coming into your own, but even more than that, it's coming into more than your own. You know what I mean? It's like everything is brand new. It's almost as if you're a reborn babe, okay? And it's in the upright. And so that transformation did occur for you at the end of the year, actually. So, I mean, it's a great way to end the year. It's almost like the Happy New Year baby, you know, of January. So it is, you know, it's kind of a new year. It's a new you, you know, but it's also a card of, you know, bringing things to fruition, okay? And, you know, it's major stuff. I mean, you're going to sort of start something, you know, start the journey over, you know, all over. So whatever the situation was, you had taken it all the way to the end of the road, and now you're kind of starting over. So let's see what Spirit has for you. I've shuffled the cards.
All right.
And I'm going to draw that first card for the position of the overall environment for Virgo, February 2015. You ready?
Ready.
You ready, Ava?
I am. My God. Yes.
Okay. You're going to read the first card, so.
Right.
Okay.
Tell me.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, girls. Up comes the devil in the upright. And I'm going to have Ava sort of take it away. You've seen the card, so here she comes.
All right. Well, this is passion, if nothing else. All right. This is obeying the law of pleasure. That which gives you pleasure. That being the principle that guides you. What gives you real, ultimate pleasure. And that, unfortunately, can be both poison or it can be honey, either way. So, in other words, poison being drugs, alcohol, sex without love, all those things can lure you into a world of pleasure seeking. It's the most materialistic card. So in other words, look, you've just gone through a literal rebirth. You've finished something, come to the end of the road with something, and you feel very proud, very honored, very, you feel really so self-congratulatory, let's just say, about that. And then in the month of February, maybe as a consequence of that, the temptations of life present themselves to you. And that means the overabundance of things that give you pleasure. Maybe you're a shopaholic. Maybe you're an alcoholic. Or maybe you're a simply, you like to hoard. You know, you can't let go of things that you hold on to too strongly. Any of these could be applicable to the devil. Or you are in some sort of power struggle. So now you've taken something to its conclusion, and you have to face a power struggle of some sort in February. So that's what I have to say about that, Trudy. You have anything to add?
Well, harken back to January. It seems as if there was a challenge, perhaps, with, and I'm going to say I have a sense of this emperor who could be maybe an influence. And I know the emperor's in the upright, but he's also in the position of the unexpected, and so he's popping up his head. Could the emperor be your devil? Could you be perhaps responding to, you know, some sort of idea of imprisonment? It's really within your control. However, you may not quite be there yet. To sort of walk away from this situation. But it does have you feeling a little bit, your lower self is sort of coming forward, I guess, this month, in this area, just in this area. So that is what I see. I am going to go ahead and draw the second card, which is in the position of challenge. The reason we go on about the devil is he's major arcana, and so we could talk about these major arcana cards for a week.
Yeah.
And so, Ava, in the position of challenge, we have the Seven of Swords, and it is in the upright, okay? So, the first thing that comes to mind with this card is that perhaps you are not, you're challenged with sort of walking away, okay? But not only walking away, but walking away with your truth, your stuff, and maybe you're going to walk away sort of in the middle of the night, This isn't going to be done well. I mean, that's, obviously it's in the challenge position and it's been thought of. So it's kind of like, how do I get out of here, how do I get out of here without being noticed, maybe? But then there's also this sense of, I don't know, hesitation to speak your mind a little bit. You just want to leave and you don't really want to go into it. But there's something holding you back here, because you see this, the gentleman in the card is looking, from whence he has come.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's sort of this plan to escape, yet you're not fully committed to it yet, but you're sort of maybe making, making a blueprint in your mind, it's like, oh, I could do it this way, I could do it that way. I am going to pass it over to you, Ave.
Well, I always see this as the spy card, the sneaky, sneaky spy. It's daring, strategizing, daring behavior, doing something undercover, plotting undercover, planning something, and sometimes having to be less than honest in order to achieve your ultimate goal without detection. So a little bit of underhandedness. So your challenge is to kind of be resourceful, intellectually resourceful, because this is an intellectual card. It's the mind game card. And having the courage and facing whatever danger might lurk in your environment. So that's what it means.
Do you think it could also mean that you're challenged with somebody who's spying on you, looking through your texts and your...
Me too. It could be coming at you.
Yes, they could be.
The whole formula that I've just iterated is what you should be maybe mindful of and watch.
Well, it reminds me of Maroon 5. They have this song called Phone in Your Pocket. And the whole song is about the guy wanting to go through the girl's phone in her pocket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
That's the new thing. Like, show me your phone.
Right, because your phone holds a record of your interactions. And,
That's right.
Right, and they are private, and they should always remain private.
And the reason why I mentioned that is the next card that has just come up for us is the Eight of Wands in the reverse.
Oh my God, really? Eight of Wands.
In the reverse, and it is in the position of the unexpected.
Oh my gosh.
So it's kind of the pulling back of communication, you know? It's the reverse of, you know, putting it out there, putting the passion out there. It's pulling it back.
Right.
And
that's right.
Yeah, and so the reason I thought of that was that you might want to, you know, it's kind of a little warning this month, it looks like. Overall, that's what this reading's all about. It's kind of like the watch your back reading a little bit.
Right, it's a watch your back reading.
Yeah, because you don't want to leave any communication laying around.
You know, this is also a card of running away.
It is. You're right. It is. But it's also, you know, like some regret and remorse maybe over, you know, and that's the other interpretation. It could be think twice before you start sending it out there.
Right, and also having a little bit of hurdles to overcome. But when you see this in reverse, the arrows are coming from the ground and they're going up, and you don't know where they're going to land. So there's like this sort of like helter-skelter kind of feeling about it, you know, like, oh, well, you know, maybe I'm not sure which way to go. I don't know where to go. Like, I'm not sure what direction I need to go in. Because normally they all head in one direction. But when it's reversed, they go in all different directions.
Right, right.
So unexpectedly, you're finding a little bit of confusion because you don't know where to go. You don't know what.
You're feeling it like, I think this card says you're not sure how to communicate and where to communicate.
Yeah.
You have a lot of ideas in terms of how to communicate.
Yeah.
But it could be a delay or, you know, spirit advising our Virgos. Maybe to delay communication.
Or just
it's not going to land anywhere because the communication...
Silly, crazy arguments about nothing.
Right. It's not going to land anywhere of any value.
No. So, yeah, it doesn't go anywhere.
Doesn't go anywhere. That's it. So, and then in the last position with the King of Wands, there he is.
Oh, my God, really?
Reversed
again. Oh my God, you're kidding.
Yeah. So it looks like, I mean, if this is a love reading, it looks as if you're dealing with your lover is, at this point, okay, well, I'm just going to say it, all right? This is the card of the guy who cheats.
Well, yes.
Yeah, it is. But not always, but it is one interpretation of this card. So if you're with somebody who is, you know, sort of spying on you, you have to really kind of wonder why, right?
Yes.
Usually, you know, he who mistrusts should be mistrusted.
Right.
But it's also someone who's just overly impulsive.
Right.
Doesn't really watch his tongue. Right. Flies off the handle.
Bullies you.
Yeah. And he's, you know, I mean, he's not...
Very, very, very childish and immature.
Right, yeah. It's the player. This is the guy who will...
The egoist.
I'm gonna turn it over to you.
And it's, So they have the devil, right? The first card was the devil, right?
Yes.
All right.
We have the devil.
All right. Now listen, in this card, the first card is about power struggle, you know, being dominated or dominating. This card is about handing over your power, relinquishing your power, sort of like, okay, I give up, this kind of thing. I don't feel strong enough to do it myself. It could be that, but definitely it's commitment issues. It's commitment problems. Who's committed? Maybe you're not committed, maybe he's not committed. Maybe there's no commitment in a contract of some sort, in an agreement of some sort. You're at least doubtful or skeptical about some sort of agreement. And because it can mean like someone who promises you something and then they break their promise. So that shows a weakness of character, a weakness of spiritual uprightness, and this becomes, at the end of the month, an issue for you to have to deal with. And don't, Virgo, please, and Virgos sometimes have this problem because they are gentle and kind sign. They're easily pushed in directions they don't want to go. Because they're so accommodating. They want to do well. They want to be loved. They want to fit. They want to be accepted, and so they become like pushovers. You know? So what the card is saying is to write this card, you have to stand up for yourself and express what your passion is, what your desires are, and in a mature and not a don't engage in argument. Instead, just calmly express who you are and stand firm. That's what I feel about it.
Excellent recap of the reading.
All right, all right.
I have nothing to add.
All right, good.
Because we're ready to draw the 5th card, which is a card that will speak to your love life.
Oh my God, the entire reading spoke to it almost.
I know it did. Well, then again, you know, we did have this emperor. I want to add this because, you know, we had an emperor, okay? So that's also a father figure, like a dad or a CEO.
Yeah, father.
The head of the household, the head of the corporation, the head of the company. And that showed up last month. I feel like there could be, it might not be a lover. It could be at work even.
Yeah, the whole work environment kind of scenario.
Right, where you're dealing with a narcissist, okay?
Yes.
Because that's what the King of Wands inverted is, a narcissist.
That's right. That's right. That's
egoist. Right. So, I mean, of course you're trying to plan your escape, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when kind of give in.
Right. So, what we have is the 10 of Pentacles inverted.
Oh my God. Again.
Yes. So this also speaks to, you know, it could be, now when we speak of love, it can be a partner. It is the month of love, but sometimes it's about self-love, and I think, you know, this reading could be about self-love, because there's a lot of stuff going in here in this reading, as Ava mentioned, that really points to you know, drawing boundaries, okay? Because I really think that's what this reading's all about.
Yeah.
And so when this card comes up, this just tells me that you know, you're not feeling secure, and within the situation, you're not being provided for. You do not feel like part of if either the family or you know, if it's a marriage, you're not feeling supported. and you may not see a future in this, in terms of, where's all this going? Is this something I can rely upon? You know, I mean, I think this reading is really about boundaries, and so this is a great place to start, to expect to be provided for as part of the system,
Yes,
I mean,
it's a very materialistic card in the reverse. It tends to it's like the devil in the minor arcana, because it's overly materialistic. In other words, you compromise your principles to gain things, material things. So, what it's saying within the relationship, there's living maybe even beyond your means together, kind of like being extravagant, and kind of feeling a sense of little bit of insecurity because financially you're not on a stable footing. Or maybe what it's saying is that there's a certain amount of a lack of spiritual purpose within the relationship. And so you have to turn this card around, and you have to establish your relationship grounded in higher spiritual principles, and not be so, not let yourself and the relationship get immersed in the things that it can get you. Maybe together you become a sort of like a powerhouse, like a business powerhouse. And
well, the other thing I was thinking is, how a lot of people, it's when they're together, it's more about like what it looks like from the outside.
Yes.
But when you get inside, it's like a big mess.
Yes.
Financially, you're in debt. I mean, it's like he goes out and buys a new truck, and you find out, 2 weeks later, kind of thing.
Right, or you've leased everything, everything's on loan, but it looks spectacular. But you're on the brink of not being able to pay those bills, So it's sometimes that those kinds of issues can damage the authenticity of the feelings in a relationship. It's not a good place for them to be, to try to find a foundation together on false ground.
But there's one more interpretation, which could be you are not welcome in the family.
That's absolutely correct. Somehow there's rejection from his family, or your family rejects them. They don't want to assimilate your partner into the broader family. Absolutely right, Trudy. That's true.
Well, Virgo, it's a good month to draw boundaries.
Yes. Yes, and to really be real about your lifestyle together.
Absolutely. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, we're in agreement.
All right.
Do you want to talk about private readings?
Certainly.
I think Virgos out there may need a private reading.
Well, if they do, then please come to virtualtarot.wordpress.com and choose probably a deep meaning reading would be appropriate, or perhaps a life path reading. A lot of people want to know things like, what's my purpose in life? Can you imagine? You don't know. Sometimes we just go about life and we don't really have a definite idea as to what we should be doing. We know that what we're doing isn't right, or doesn't feel that it's giving us enough. And you'd be surprised as to what Spirit would have to counsel you on that. As many, and it can counsel you on anything. So please, if you need our assistance as interpreters of the tarot, just email us, Ava Trudy, with your questions, and we'll respond immediately. And thank you for that, for those many people who have done that. Thank you. It's what supports us here at Virtual Tarot and allows us to bring you these free readings every single month.
And don't forget, Ava, we have a website where you can purchase those readings. It's virtualtarot.wordpress.com, and there's a menu there, and you can purchase the reading and then send us your questions.
Absolutely. And if you would be kind enough, Trudy, to explain what our council card is all about, then that would be good.
Okay, well, I would love to. And so we also offer a council card. It is a subscription-only card. And what we do is we draw a major arcana card for every sign's 4-card spread. So you'll see that. We'll have it uploaded in the next week or so for February. January, I believe, through November is already uploaded. And so if you're a fan of Virtual Tarot and you want to get a little more insight into your reading, this is about a 20-minute audio file. Ava does most of them, and they're wonderful. Actually, I'm a subscriber. I love it. I can't get enough. So, but it's really a great, way to, if you want to learn more and you're not ready for an entire private reading, this is a great way to go. Also, we'll be uploading our yearly predictions for each and every sign. We have a few of them up there now, and we'll be working on getting the rest up this week, actually. So you won't want to miss that. And I think we're about ready to say goodbye.
Yes. All
right.
right.
I'm going to say goodbye first.
All right.
I'm going to thank Virgo. We've reached 10,000 subscribers, and we really appreciate you. And we plan to bring more fun in 2015, right, Ava?
Yes. Oh God, we can't help that.
So, do you want to say goodbye, Ava?
I'll say goodbye.
I switched over to you.
Thank you very much for coming to Virtual Tarot, and have a wonderful night, 2015. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the 17 viewers who are watching live. Woohoo! Bye-bye.